A pursuit that's as legendary as it is exhilarating. Today, we're setting our sights on one of the ocean's most prized trophies, the Sydney Striped Marlin. Get ready for an adventure like no other as we dive into the depths in search of these powerful predators. Now, for those of you who might be new to the sport, let me break it down for you. Marlin fishing, also known as bill fishing, is all about targeting the ocean's fastest and most elusive predators, the billfish. These majestic creatures, including marlin, spearfish, and sailfish, are the stuff of legends, with their elongated rostrums and lightning-fast swimming speeds. But what sets the Sydney Striped Marlin apart from the rest? Well, for starters, they're some of the most sought-after game fish in the world. With their wide distribution in tropical and temperate waters, they're accessible to anglers from all corners of the globe. And let me tell you, when you hook into one of these beauties, you're in for the fight of your life. Now, when it comes to marlin fishing, Sydney is truly a mecca for anglers. With its pristine waters and abundance of bait fish, it's the perfect playground for these oceanic giants. And when the marlin are running, there's no better place to be than out on the open water, with the wind in your hair and the thrill of the chase in your veins. But make no mistake, landing a Sydney Striped Marlin is no easy feat. These powerful predators are known for their speed, strength, and cunning, making them a true test of skill for even the most experienced anglers. It's a battle of wits and wills, with the marlin doing everything in its power to evade capture. But for those who are up to the challenge, the rewards are beyond compare. Picture this: the sun setting on the horizon, the sound of the waves crashing against the hull, and the adrenaline pumping through your veins as you reel in a Sydney Striped Marlin. It's a moment you'll never forget. So whether you're a seasoned angler or a novice just dipping your toes into the world of marlin fishing, there's never been a better time to embark on this epic adventure. With Sydney's stunning coastline as your backdrop and the promise of an unforgettable catch on the line, the possibilities are endless. Now, when we talk about blue marlin, we're talking about some seriously big fish. We're talking about bony behemoths that can tip the scales at over 1,000 pounds for the ladies and pack a punch that'll leave you reeling. Just picture it, a massive blue marlin weighing in at a staggering 1,805 pounds, caught off the coast of Oahu, Hawaii, back in 1970. They called it Choi's Monster, for a reason, folks, and that's not all. Over in the Atlantic, angler Paulo Amorim reeled in a whopping 1,402-pound blue marlin off the coast of Vitória, Brazil. Talk about a fishtail for the ages, and let's not forget the monster that allegedly tipped the scales at a mind-blowing 2,438 pounds in Tokyo's Tsukiji market. Now that's a fish that'll make your jaw drop. But it's not just about the size, it's about the thrill of the chase, the adrenaline rush of the catch. Anglers from around the world have long dreamed of landing a grander, a blue marlin weighing in at over 1,000 pounds. It's the ultimate badge of honor, the holy grail of big game fishing. Now, when it comes to blue marlin, they're true globetrotters, traveling far and wide in search of the perfect feeding grounds. From the warm waters of the tropics to the temperate zones of the northern and southern hemispheres, these magnificent fish are always on the move, following the currents and chasing their next meal. And let me tell you, these warm currents, like the Gulf Stream in the western Atlantic and the Agulhas Current in the western Indian Ocean, serve as their highways, guiding them on their epic migrations. It's like a grand adventure on the high seas, with blue marlin as the ultimate explorers. Now, when it comes to dining preferences, blue marlin are anything but picky eaters. They'll feast on a smorgasbord of prey, from small organisms like miniature filefish to larger catches like skipjack tuna and frigate mackerel. And get this, they're not afraid to take on some serious meals. We're talking white marlin, yellowfin tuna, and big eye tuna. Nothing is off the menu for these voracious predators. But what really gets the attention of sport fishermen is the upper range of blue marlin prey size. Picture this, a blue marlin weighing in at a whopping 448 pounds, with a 72-inch white marlin found in its stomach. Now that's a meal fit for a king. And during the 2005 White Marlin Open, a blue marlin with a 70-pound white marlin in its belly was the talk of the town. Now, when it comes to blue marlin fishing, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. It all depends on factors like the size of the marlin in the area, local sea conditions, and of course the angler's preferences. But fear not, because we've got the lowdown on the main methods used by sport fishermen to reel in these oceanic giants. Now, when it comes to trolling for blue marlin, anglers often use a combination of rigged baits and artificial lures. This technique, known as skirted baits or bait-lure combinations, is especially popular along the eastern seaboard of the United States and in hotspots like the Bahamas, the Caribbean, and Venezuela. It's a strategic approach that maximizes your chances of hooking into a trophy-sized marlin. But here's the kicker. Rigged natural baits aren't just for trolling. They can also be used as pitch baits, deployed after fish are raised to hookless lures or teasers. It's a sneaky tactic that can be highly effective when targeting finicky marlin that may be hesitant to strike at traditional lures. Now, when it comes to trolling with lures for blue marlin, Hawaii is where it all began. Picture this: skippers operating from the Kona coast of the Big Island, crafting lures that would soon become the stuff of legends. From carved wooden creations to makeshift designs made from chrome bath towel pipes and rubber inner tubes, these early pioneers paved the way for the lures we use today. Fast forward to the present day, and marlin lures come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, from small to medium to downright massive. But it's not just about looks, it's about action. The design of the lure head, particularly its face, dictates how it moves through the water. Whether it's a side-to-side swimming pattern, an aggressive surface pop, or a subtle bubble trail, each lure has its own unique charm that can drive marlin wild. But that's not all. The length and thickness of the skirt, the number and size of hooks, and even the length and size of the leader all play a role in how the lure performs. It's a fine art, and experienced anglers know just how to tweak their lures to get the action they want. After all, when you're chasing blue marlin, every little detail counts. Now, when it comes to trolling speeds, we're talking anywhere from 7.5 to 9.0 knots. That's cruising through the water like a boss, covering substantial ground and maximizing your chances of a hookup. And for those boats with slower cruising speeds, don't worry, speeds of up to 15 knots are also fair game, allowing you to work even more water and increase your odds of success. As for the setup, it's all about creating a tantalizing spread of lures behind the boat. Picture this: a pattern of 4 or more lures, each strategically placed at varying distances to cover as much water as possible. Whether you're fishing straight from the rod tip or using outriggers to extend your reach, the goal remains the same: enticing those blue marlin to strike. Now, when it comes to Atlantic blue marlin, they're no strangers to exploration. Influenced by the warm currents of the Gulf Stream, these majestic fish can be found as far north as Georges Bank, where anglers from Florida first began to uncover their secrets back in the early 1930s. And let me tell you, once they got a taste of the thrill of the chase, there was no turning back. Fast forward to the post-World War II era, and the pursuit of blue marlin was in full swing. Thanks to the writings of legends like Ernest Hemingway and S. Kip Farrington, big game anglers were flocking to destinations like the Bahamas, eager to test their skills against these oceanic behemoths. From the famous islands of Bimini to the secluded shores of Cat Cay, the hunt for blue marlin was on, and it was unlike anything the world had ever seen. But the adventure didn't stop there. As the decades rolled on, anglers began to push the boundaries of blue marlin fishing, venturing into new and uncharted waters in search of the ultimate prize. From the Algarve coast of Portugal to the southern reaches of Angola, the range of the Atlantic blue marlin became a playground for those willing to brave the high seas in pursuit of glory. And let me tell you, the thrill of hooking into one of these mighty fish is like nothing else on Earth. It's a battle of strength, skill, and sheer determination, with the odds stacked against you and the adrenaline pumping through your veins. But for those who dare to chase the dream, the rewards are beyond compare. So whether you're a seasoned angler with years of experience under your belt or a newcomer eager to test your mettle, there's never been a better time to join the hunt for Atlantic blue marlin. With their wide-ranging habitat, their legendary fighting spirit, and their status as the ultimate trophy fish, these magnificent creatures offer an adventure like no other.